Money. Let's face it, it's the thing we all need, it's the thing we all stress about, and it's the one thing we can't quite seem to get enough of, right? But here's a thought. What if there were clear instructions on how we should all deal with money? And it's not just from your local financial advisor or that uncle who definitely knows how to get rich. No, instead it's from the actual religions themselves. Yeah, turns out the 5 most popular religions on the planet, well, they have a thing or two to say about money. And they go way beyond tithing or being kind to your neighbor. Curious? So was I. Let's dive in. So, what does the most popular religion on the planet have to say about money? Well, one not so radical idea in Christianity is that money actually isn't a blessing. No, rather it's a test. So it's not how much money you have, but actually how you use it that counts. Okay, picture this. When someone does get that huge paycheck, if they're following the idea that money is a test, well, instead of buying another mansion or yacht, they might make different choices. Suddenly, building a local shelter or putting a roof over someone's head is looking like a way better use of that cash. And boom, wealth is no longer a status symbol. Sorry, Gucci. Instead, it's a way to be of service to others. Imagine that, right? A world where rich folks aren't actually hoarding money like pirates and are investing in the people who got them there in the first place. Man, I'd love to live in that kind of world. Let's look at Islam, a religion where money and debt are to be viewed through the lens of mercy and fairness. See, a money principle that Islam teaches is that debts should be forgiven in certain situations. And get this, especially when the debtor is struggling financially. Oh, you need proof? No problem. Well, it would mean debt was no longer a burden. One day you're sitting there physically sick, mentally stressed out, drowning in debt. But instead of endless calls from collections agencies who, let's be real, are trying to squeeze blood from a stone, your lender would call and say, "Don't worry about it," and just walk away. And you might be thinking, wait, what? That's a handout. That's charity. Well, yeah, that's the point. If you're in the position to forgive a debt, you're also in the position to provide charity. And by forgiving debt, you would be allowing someone in a difficult place to breathe a little easier and thus make their burden a little lighter. Again, charity. Also, by the way, no more high predatory interest loans, just compassion and understanding. Sounds nice, right? In Hinduism, there's a concept called dana, or generosity. So Hindus believe that those who have wealth are obligated to use it to help others. Giving to charity is seen as a way to gain good karma. So the wealthy are seen as stewards, entrusted with the tools to help those in need. In a world where everyone followed dana, charity wouldn't just be for tax breaks, which means any person with more money than they need, emphasis on the need part, would be obligated to share the extra. Sharing to strengthen those around you would be a way of life. So people would regularly give food, clothing, time, and yes, cash. The rich would never hoard their wealth. Instead, they'd be working hard to give it away. Can you imagine your now favorite billionaire spreading it around? Wow, we get to have a world where poverty wouldn't be accepted by anyone, meaning it didn't exist. Tell me that's not amazing. Now let's talk about Buddhism. which teaches that attachment to wealth actually leads to suffering. Buddhists believe that the more we crave material possessions, the more unhappy we become. So in this religion, wealth is seen as a temporary distraction from inner peace and spiritual growth. Buddhism, the original minimalist movement. Long before Marie Kondo asked if your closet sparks joy, Buddhism has been teaching us to be content with less. If we all followed Buddhism's advice, the world would look, well, simpler. Black Friday madness canceled. Billionaires buying up 250,000 acres of land across 17 states. For what? People would stop chasing money like it's the last bus home and start asking, do I really need that 4th air fryer? And money itself would just not be that important, which would make everything in the world work just a little differently. Now I can get behind that. Last but not least, Sikhism. Sikhism teaches about honest earnings and avoiding exploitation, which means that Sikhs believe money should never come at the cost of others' suffering. So wealth should be earned with integrity, without deceit, and with no harm to others, which boils down to working honestly and sharing what you've earned with the community. Well, we would live in a world where businesses couldn't sell products that were unsafe, unhealthy, or just a plain ripoff. Oh, and no more shady corporations, CEOs or stockholders making millions while workers are barely scraping by. It just wouldn't be a thing. Prison and war wouldn't be allowed to be profitable, and corruption would literally be a thing of the past. Instead, companies would be run fairly, wages would be just, and everyone would just work together. You heard that right. A society where everyone's in it to win it together. Okay, you're probably thinking, come on, AE, it'll never happen. You're dreaming. Stop living in the clouds. Okay, maybe. But here's why it feels a little possible. Like, with literal math. Okay, so if 6 billion people combined believed only what their religion taught them about money, and since there's only 8 billion people on the planet, are these ideas really so far-fetched? Also, you have to think, that means that 75% of us have accepted religions that are teaching these ideas. And yes, you're right. Not all 6 billion of us are listening to what our religions teach. But yikes, what are we doing? History has told us that only 10% of us need to be on board with an idea for a cultural shift to happen. So it makes you wonder, what's the problem? Look at you sticking around to the very end. I see you. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. I hate to ask for a favor, but YouTube isn't exactly rolling out the red carpet for this kind of content. So if you enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, or share it with a friend or an enemy, either way. Also, I don't have like a tip jar or anything, but if you're able to help keep this channel going and support the journey, there are links in the description. And if you're not, no problem. A simple hi is always appreciated. So until we talk next time, please stay safe, stay kind, and seriously, stay away from Kool-Aid.